Hello everybody, we're live. I'm back from the UK, from London, where I've spent the last couple of days, last 4 days. It was a great trip, it was really cool. Saw some great Counter-Strike and saw some cool stuff around London. But now we're back, and that means we're gonna keep on writing our one story. So it's been a week since I last approached this. So I'm pretty much where you guys are on this. So I was thinking that we might just want to read like the last couple of pages before we get back to it. Of course, we are writing Want, our Fae Folk story, in case you're new or in case you've forgotten. And we are following along Carl and his soulbound Gwilfane, a big wolf, who have decided to leave the Realm Oak, the safety of a Realm Oak, which is quite a big deal for Fae Folk. They don't just leave, it's a sacred duty to care for the Realm Oak. But he's leaving because he has left because of two things. One, he didn't get ascended to Druid because of some political stuff. And two, the love of his life got married to someone else. And it was just too much. So right now we're outside in the on the edge of the Realm Oak forest that we probably need a name for. So we might need to come up with that today. And he has been confronted by Sanawinth, the love of his life, the girl that he's tried to get away from. She was a scout in the Ironbark military, so she just randomly found him. Maybe randomly. It is randomly. She was just patrolling and found him. Sanawinth and her spirit-bound Egdan, a flit gecko, and yes, it is the flit gecko from Fly, our third short story. Somewhere over here. Oh, no, that was Danger. It was here. Fly, there we have it. Yeah, I think that was probably the quickest recap we have ever done. So why don't we have a read of the last 2 pages and then get back into it? I don't know. It was a very tiring trip to England as well. Like, there was a lot of good times, not a lot of sleep. So I've been spending most of my day sleeping and, well, playing Hollow Knight Silksong because I finally can. Right. So, Sana. Carl didn't smile, but his eyes brightened a little when he looked at her. Everything just became too much. I had to get away. You still should have been at me and Brio's wedding, Sanawin said. I needed my oldest friend to be there. I really did. Oh yeah, last time we made Sanawin's husband's name, which I know it's quite. I don't think we didn't make him a background character, no. But it was. We reverse engineers. We went with Briogan, and we sort of reverse engineered from one of you guys' comment and idea in the chat. So Briogan, you actually see it. You can see it there. There it is, Briogan. That's his full name. It is the combination of Boar, which is Briok, and something with Gan. What was it? So Boar Star Sigan means star in Faen. And that was because... Let me just... This is the right one. Yeah. Wait, did I use this one? No, I didn't. Wow, okay, I definitely didn't use that one. That scene, that's good. So Briogan got his name because he was born under the boar, a star sign. And his spirit bound is a boar. So, which has a boar in Celtic mythology, Celtic symbolism, could mean direction. That's why we did the star thing, right? Because you direct through stars. Let me just... Yes, I am in the right mode there. It was selfish. I have no excuse, Carl admitted. There was no point going back. He might as well confess everything to his unrequited love. We have a comment here that says makes sense, and I think it makes sense. But I need you to know that every time I saw you and Breogan together, even when you... There's missing a word here that we wrote last time. And I don't know what it's supposed to be. I may be missing some words here. Even when you... What on earth was I supposed to say? Did I say here? I guess we could go back in the live stream and watch it, but nah. You know what? I'm gonna make an executive decision here, and we're gonna remove when even you or even just you alone. Everyone can see it says alone there. But I need you to know that every time I saw you and Breogan together, or even just you alone, it felt like dying over and over again, 1,000 times. I don't think you know just how long that I've been in love with you. That's the worst part about reading back what you've written. I mean, it's just... There's so many words that I goddamn forget. Animo says, hi Thomas. Animo, are you Sam? It is I. Welcome, Sam. Good to have you here. Your favorite Blast TV writer. Oh, I'm not gonna deny that. El Cuero is here in the stream as well. Hi, dude. How's the day, you ask? It's pretty good. I've just got back from England. And I spent most of the day sleeping and playing Hollow Knight Silksong. But now we're here, and now we're just reading up, because I haven't actually touched Wand since last time. So, yeah. We're just catching up with where we ended last time. But it's so good to have you guys here, and I hope you have a good time. It goes back longer than our first kiss before my memories of you and your dad bringing freshly harvested mushrooms to dinner with my parents and I. I think it even goes back to before I knew what love was. Carl was almost out of breath from his confessions, and yet he kept going. Through all the trouble that you ever got me in, I was just happy to be with you, to be around you. Even back when you rejected my advances, I still had this hope deep within that would somehow end up together. But Cal, Sanawind managed to say, I'm married now. It's not gonna... I know, Sana. Cal answered before she could finish the sentence. That's what I'm trying to say. I need you to know that I've worked on accepting that. And I really have. It's just... Oh, you're not with me. It's just been so difficult. I just love you so much. But you never were. And you never will be mine. So I chose the last resort that I could think of. I needed to get away, even if it meant leaving the realm altogether. I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, I knew about your feelings. I partly joined the Ironbark Scouts because of them, but... What do you mean? Carl asked. After you asked that, I knew that I would never feel the same, and so I... Right, Thomas? Animo says, right, Thomas, I have you on, I have K-pop on. It's time to write about dreams and stuff. Fucking yes, dude. Get to that writing and tell me. Once in a while, just tell me how it's going. Jack, during the live stream, just pop into the chat and say like, okay, this is really going great. I'm having a good time. The K-pop is still rolling. Awesome. So good to hear you, dude. Carl felt that all too familiar feeling in his heart and stomach as she said those words. Even if he already knew. It's another stupid word missing. Even if he already knew they were coming. So I promised myself, Sanawind continued after a small pause, that I would stop leading you on, that I would stop hurting you. And you know how Dad used to be an Ironbark Scout, was gone for a long time every patrol mission. Remember how I used to spend most of my time with you and your parents? Yes, those times were when I was the most happy back then. Honestly, I don't think he needs to say yes here. It's just like... Just confirm straight up that those times were when I was most happy. So yeah, we had a quite heavy point, a heavy drama point in the story, in case you've forgotten. Sanawind looked at Carl without saying anything as the rain came pouring down still. He was just about to apologize when she continued. So I figured that if I joined the Ironbarks and became a scout like my old man, I would both make him proud and get some distance between us. And I figured that you would find somebody else while I was gone. Has there really not been anyone else? I thought I heard about you and... No, there haven't been anyone else. Carl sounded... Whoa. My fingers just got smudged by... And now it's all over the ink. My ink pen. Did not notice that. This is the worst part about bringing stuff in ink pen with you on a flight. The ink tries to get out of the cartridge because of the change in pressure in the cabin, and then when you have to use your ink pen, it's just Smudge City. Smudge City. Okay. Might be a fun little short form video. I'm of course noting down what I think could be fun short form videos, so I don't have to rewatch everything. Smudge City. and I have my average sized mug with me of water for this thirsty tiny boy. Oh, look at, oh, you can't really see, can you? It's just, it's Smudge City inside the top thing as well. I think that might actually be a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference, Smudge City. Just gonna note that. B99. I think I made quite a lot of those. Right. Carl sounded. There we are. Sounded quite firm as he interrupted her. Whoever you heard about, I always ended things before they escalated further. Maybe I shouldn't have when looking back, but it didn't seem fair to them that my every other thought was about you. I see, Sullivan said before another pause, with only the sounds of the rain and clacking and howling. Clacking and howling. From somewhere. Whoa. What on earth was that? From somewhere. On the other side of the shelter. The other side of the shelter. Hey, then. You know how you're in a really uncomfortable talk, a really uncomfortable conversation, and you sort of get easily distracted about something else that's happening around you. It's sort of the thing I think would happen right here. Then she suddenly shouted. She suddenly shouted. You better not be running around on the wrong side of the forest. Be running around on the wrong side of the forest. So yeah, as I mentioned, these guys are at, this drama here is taking place at the very edge of the Fae Folk forest. Which means that not very far from there is a forest filled with humans, and there is a human conflict that we have alluded to in this, a human Fae Folk conflict we have alluded to in this story earlier. So yeah, maybe we should allude to that again. If I catch you, If I catch you with humans on your heels again, on your tail again, tail, that makes more sense. Since they wouldn't, a flit gecko, a lizard wouldn't have heels. You're gonna be sorry. Gonna be so sorry, mister. Do they say mister? I feel like mister is... It's very... It's very early. It's not very early. It's very modern. That's what I want to say. So, you're gonna be so sorry. Come back now. Come back right now. So yeah, and also the thing is, of course, where we left off last time. So this is, of course, well, I said of course 3 times already. We don't want this conversation to be that long. And we have, now that we have confessed everything from Carl's point of view, it's sort of time to amend things. So we started, there's a little time skip here, and we started on page 101 in the book here, and we are now on page 108, but we didn't get to Sanawinth until 103. Actually 104 maybe even. Here, it's a good thing tears never show in the pouring rain. A woman's voice sounded from somewhere. So that's nice. That's not the longest conversation in the world. I'm also a little... I think I mentioned this last time as well. When I made Calamity, I was like... So that was 21 pages long, right? And I thought, you know what, that's pretty good length for one of the short stories. It didn't take forever, and it took some time to read and make the video, but there was a lot of things I had to figure out, and I was very new to it and all that. And then I made Danger, which turned out to be 27 pages long in this book. And I was like, okay, interesting. It's probably going to be one of the longer ones. And then I made Fly, which I thought genuinely would be less than 20 pages from what I had in mind, and it turned out to be 34. So that was strange. And now, Want, I think we started at 85 or something. Yeah, there it is. 85. And we are now 23 pages in. So this might end up being the longest one yet. It's like, I don't know, it feels like there's just so much I want to tell, honestly. And of course we don't have, I haven't digitized it, and there might be something that I can throw away once we do and all that, but you know, it's weird. But I have, after this scene with Sanawinth, there's gonna be a scene that is much more actiony and ends the story, which you'll see. I'm kind of hoping that we will get to end this scene here like today, so within 2 or 3 pages, basically. Might not be too realistic. We'll see. Come back right now. Okay, so now so we're going into reconciliation phase here between the two. And I sort of want Sanawinth to, you know, the spirit bound comes back. Gwilfane, who's a wolf with shaggy white fur, is drenched now. And yeah, I want the two to reconcile. I want Carl to really say that he is sorry for that. Okay, that music was not what we were looking for. That's very actiony. I want Carl to say he was trying to protect himself, but that was I want him to admit he was selfish, basically. Yeah, bloody hell, that music got dramatic. That's the wonders of a random playlist from the YouTube archive, basically. Yeah, that didn't really fit the tone of the scene, but you know, it's all right. And then I want, like I said, I want the two to reconcile, and I want Sanawin. I want the scene to end with Sanawin just showing Carl how to survive better, like, and that sort of let infer that they make up. Animo says this is why you need K-pop. It never throws you off. I have no argument against that. I do think, though, I haven't actually looked, but I don't think there's a whole lot of K-pop in the YouTube audio library. There might be, but yeah, I don't think I've ever heard an instrumental K-pop video, K-pop music either. I was a little bit more mellow, this music. Wait, is that right on your fucking t-shirt? It is. I was thinking of bringing this to London as well, but I already brought another one of the shirts I got from him. It says, I read Ryan's roundup for a whole year, and all I got was this stupid t-shirt, and then a beautiful, beautiful picture of him. So I just wanted to have him here at my live stream. Oh yeah, and he signed it as well. It says to Thomas, best of luck, super writer, Rai. Ah, isn't he sweet? That's so. I never read a Ryan roundup. Oh, so I think that's well. Aren't you on the Blast Company Slack? It's on every Friday. I don't actually know if it is anymore. Yeah, Ryan really is the best. Nothing but love for that guy. Neither have I, Cuervo. Yeah, that was it's a bit of an inside joke from when I worked at Blast, esports company. Ryan had these weekly write-ups of everything that happened within esports and gaming. And they were funny and good, and you know, it was a nice way of keeping up with stuff. Anyway, let's get back to the story, shall we? Oh, actually, Ryan's roundup might make a fun short form video. They heard. I don't remember if we said where, like in what type of forest they were in right now. Beside the realm oak, which is an oak. Duh. It's not evergreen. It might be evergreen. Well, I gotta go make dinner. I might not be back today. Okay, El Guero, thank you for dropping by. It's always good having you, and you're always welcome if you've had the time. Have a nice dinner. They heard the rustling. That's the word, right? Am I welcome? Well, if it isn't Jamie in my chat. Wow, it's just like Blast reunion here. Welcome, Jamie. And yes, you are very, very welcome. And I hope you'll have a good time. Sam is here in the chat as well. And he is writing his own stuff right now. So it's a bit you can go find your own stuff to write, and we'll have a little writing club together while I'll just keep talking about my stuff. Yeah. Let's go. They heard the rustling. Of pine branches. And after which. Oh, never mind, says El Cuervo. Oh, you're gonna stay? Yes! By the way, El Cuervo, how's your book coming along? Did you finish chapter 2? They heard the rustling of pine branches, after which a clacking lizard glided back down to the two Fae Folk. To the two enjoying a brief respite. Oops, not breathe. Breathe. Respite. For a moment. Elquero says, nope, kinda had to redo some things on the chapter because I was repeating myself a bit. Yeah. I feel ya. That's what happens all the time for me, I feel like. I'm actually kind of... I think that might be happening. I think we went over this one of the other live streams, but I think that might actually be happening in Want here, that we are repeating ourselves, which, you know, might make it so that this isn't our longest... It isn't gonna be our longest story yet. Anyway, I just needed to know... Respite. Yeah, Pusterum. So, that was indeed what I was looking for. But did you, El Cuervo, did you crack the thing you were struggling with last time with Gailey and the other character who was a thief? And did you see the Full Metal Alchemist? Get inspired by the Full Metal Alchemist episode that we talked about? Gwylfane. Wasn't far off. Ugh. His shaggy coat. Now soaked with rain. Now soaked in the rain. Something. Oh yeah, I figured it out. Cool. Well done. It was actually really easy. I just had to put some feeling into it. Nice. Nice. Good to hear that. Onwards to the next problem, right? There's always another problem when you're writing. That's what makes it fun, I think. Something... Oh, for fuck's sake. Man, there was a lot of mistakes there towards the end. Page 109. Page 109. Something. Something. Something that became abundantly clear by the smell as she joined the three. Became abundantly clear. Something that became abundantly clear by the smell. As he joined them. And when he did, the wolf gave the other three a good, nice shower. A good, nice shower with his by shaking his body. How do you say it? Let's open the thesaurus. Shower. Drench might be... No, but they're already drenched. Downpour, drizzle, fall, hail, mist, storm. Downpour, drizzle, flood, hail, rain, sleet, storm. Precipitation. I have never heard that word. Paste. Oh, really? So it actually just means like downpour. Interesting. The other three. A most unfortunate shower, no. A most unwelcome shower. Most unwelcome shower. Most unwelcome shower. With a good shake. We all know the dog in the rain. And the dog shaking its entire body as they're joining up back up with you. And you're just like, no, stop it! The good shake, most unwelcome shower. Oh, Gwyll. Carl exclaimed. As if as if he had the potential to get more wet. That doesn't make much sense. But I think this is a good, like, bridge to the reconciliation thing that I keep talking about. So Gwilfane shakes and showers them with his bad smelling wet wolf. And then they both laugh. They both start laughing and smiling, and you know, we sort of we sort of open up because they're now smiling, both of them. Well, I don't want Carl to smile yet. Because I want it to be part of the story that he doesn't smile. He could fake a smile. That's maybe not bad. I could fake a smile. Yeah, actually, yeah, I kind of like that. As if he was able to get more wet. He was able to get more wet. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Maybe someone needs to go back to the shelter and wait. Someone needs to go back into the shelter, actually into the shelter and wait. Dot dot dot. No. Don't send him away. Sanna Winth. Said with a laugh. It's been far too long since I've seen this good boy. Far too long since I've seen. You can call a wolf a good boy. Seen this good boy. I really don't mind. So of course, Gwilfane is pretty huge, even for So he's a dire wolf, right? So dire wolves are big. They real big. I think this might be another opportunity to say his height, to mention his height, but not like directly. So what if Sanawind, like, she's quite tall as well though. But I was saying, like, Sanawind could go onto her toes and wrap her arms around his neck and hug him. Will faint. Of course, Fae Folk are rather small, like a meter tall or something like that. So she continued. She that's a T. Everyone can see that's a T. She continued. She proceeded. That's what I wanted to say. Not continued. Well, that's sort of the same. She proceeded. She proceeded to wrap her arms around the dire wolf's neck. Dire wolf. Dair. In an attempt to hug him. In an attempt to hug him. And even though she was tall for a Fae Folk. Fae Folk. Even though she was tall for a Fae Folk, Sanawind still had to stand on her toes to make her hands meet. To make her hands meet. Carl faked a smile. As his soul-bound, spirit-bound, not soul-bound, spirit-bound. Did I call him a soul-bound earlier today? Flagging lizard, his shaggy coat. Oh. Is it spirit bound? Enjoyed the petting. And attention. Just hit me. She already petted him. Leave. Yeah, don't worry, Quill, with a totally changed demeanor, not mad at you in the slightest. His yellow eyes lit up and started running around. I missed her so much as well. Yeah, she already said that she missed him. So, we don't need to say that again. I mean, sort of already knew it, but yeah. It's all good. So how do we move on from here? With a full stop. And then we say okay, it just hit me that maybe we're a little too fast, but I want it to be over rather quickly. Like we just said 30 minutes ago that we want this to be over within like 2 or 3 pages maybe. But what if it's too fast? What if it feels rushed? I guess that's what we have revisions for, but you know. So the better this version 1.1 is, the less revision is needed, right? How long do you aim for the short stories to be? Well, I don't really... I don't really have like I don't really have like an idea of how long they need to be, but so we can have a look at that again. So here, this is of course the handwritten book. So Calamity, my first one, was 21 pages. I thought that was a good length. That turned out to be 14 tightly written pages when digitized. At 2,400 characters per page, which is the standard I'm used to working with because I came from the university and that's how we measured page length. But yeah, then I was like, okay, that's a good. They're probably not going to be one longer than that. And then Danger came along, and that turned out to be 27 pages long. And I was like, wow, okay, that turned out to be way longer. Interesting. But that's probably going to be one of the longest, I think. Like, I knew what. I have the idea in my head of where I want to go with the short stories, but I just don't have like an idea of the length really. Which you can see in Fly. I was most certain that Fly would be shorter than Calamity, and that turned out to be 34 pages in this book. Oh, they're in one book. I thought you were just Animal says, oh, they're in one book. I thought you were just on 109 pages of, well, yeah, okay. And we're condensed down to maybe 40 pages when you type it up. Okay, yeah, I like that. No, but this is a short story collection that I'm writing. So they're not long, but I don't think they're short either. But how much does Sam and I have to tip to become lovers in a short story? You don't have to tip anything. It's already, I mean, what? maybe the next one I'll have a Jam and Sam. Yes, make us lovers. Do it. You know, you could make yourself lovers in real life. I mean, in your own stories as well. You know? No one is stopping us. We already have a ship name. Yeah. Sammy. Sam Jam. We already do that anymore. Yeah, right. But you know, things can be arranged. It's just probably not going to be in this one. Sorry, guys. That bottle reminds me of Sam. This one? It's my average size mug. You know, I'm a tiny person in real life, so this is just my average size mug for water. God, I'm thick. Well, you finally realized it, Sam. We've been saying that to you for years. Okay, back to the story now. Carl faked a smile as the spirit bound enjoyed the petting and attention of mind but not body. Well, you know, believe in it, Sam, and you can be just as thick as you want. Now, if that's not words to live by, I don't know what is. So we need to get this over into the reconciliation phase. So what did we mention earlier? We wanted Carl to to admit that he was selfish in trying to protect himself. Animo says, also don't get distracted by this until you have an appropriate time to be, but how do you come up with character names? I only get distracted by everything, so that's fine. We can have a look at that. Yeah, El Cuervo says, today we have double Romantasy, one in cam and one in chat. That is so true. You can be the third member of this love triangle. Hey, I thought I was supposed to join the throuple, but I guess I'm the author, so I won't. So let's just have names for the characters. I have my giant document of Fae Folks here, and so for each race I do a naming convention section where I sort of try to figure out how they would be naming stuff. Self-inserting is okay, Thomas, and you can take it that however you like. Ew. No, but so for the Fae Folk, I wanted Fae Folk as a race. I wanted them to be closely related to these animals that their spirit is bound to, called spirit bound. And so they're in this spirit bound relationship where their life force is sort of dependent on each other, and they always have a companionship that way, and they take on characteristics from each other, and then whatever type of animal this spirit bound is, there's like different symbolisms or something like that, which can influence the name or the way they look or something. And it's the same with the name for the spirit bound. I then have this idea with them that we would take a contraction of however many words is used to describe the others. So for example, Carl, we then, let's go back to the background document here. I have a background document with the personas. So here's Carl and Gwilfane. I just list a bunch of names that I think would look cool in English, and then I make up those words in the Faean language, which in this case is inspired by Scottish Gaelic and Welsh. And then I sort of contract those two together. So it's a long process. So for example, for Carl and Gwilfane, we went through Wolfheart, Twin, Wolf Twin, Moonhair, Moonfur, and ended up with Carl, which would be Carfail. That meant twin, and then contracted to each other because they have the same eyes, they have the same type of hair, fur. Carl's hair is white, long and shaggy. Both their eyes are yellow. Gwilfane's fur is shaggy and white. And Carl also has longer than average canines because of the two spirits, sort of, they influence each other. And yeah, for the same for Gwilfane, I went with Wolfhowl, courage. That was something in Celtic religion, wolves, symbolism in Celtic religion, wolves symbolize courage. Ghost, because of Ghost from George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones. Happy Moon. We never went far with that, but it ended up with Gwylfane, which was a contraction of Moonfur. And we have the here. I have Moon somewhere. Moon. Gwylcraig. Yes, I'm very good at saying accents and so on. So you made up this language, Anime asked, or is it directly taken from Welsh and Gaelic? Let's just have, we have Gwylcraig, which is moon, and then we have Fur, which is Fane. So what I do is I go into Google Translate, literally, and I find with Scotch Gaelic. It's mostly because I wanted the Fae Folk to be like inspired by the old Celts, right? Like Rohan, for example, in Lord of the Rings, which are also inspired by the Anglo-Saxons or the Celts as well. I wanted that to be the inspiration for this species. So it made sense to go into Scots Gaelic and Welsh. And so I do this, that I get inspired by the words. I have this here column, which is Scotch Gaelic first, and then in brackets it's Welsh. And then I come up with my own word for that, inspired by those two. Sometimes you can definitely see the connection, like crown, for example, which is Curún here, and that's from Gaelic it's Crún, and from Welsh it's Gordon. So sometimes it's very, very close to each other. Sometimes we have another idea, or if I feel like I've had the same pronunciation too much, for example, we go with something else. But it's quite the process, because you also want something that I think looks cool or makes sense. Yeah, that's how I come up with the names. And then for the others, of course, the other species have different naming conventions. This is all very cool, thank you. It takes a long while, it takes a long time sometimes to do it. It can get a little bit overwhelming, because I'm not a linguist, for example. I don't know how to do languages really, so it's just single words that I sort of make up. For Fly, which was dragons, I wanted a language that was very, those sounds, like long sounded words. And so I found Northern Sami, which is spoken in it's called Lapland in English as well. You know, the very, very top of Finland, where Norway and Sweden also, Norway, Sweden and Finland meet. They have this Finnish as well. They have this, they use a lot of vowels. So I took inspiration from that. And then the naming convention was to have a word end with something. And the naming convention was like, once they were born, the broodcarer would give them names that for what's it called, for like personality trait, or like traits that they wished for them to have. So Vurusu, the main character of Fly, for example, is actually Journey and then with a ZUU onto. That's how I got that name. And that was just something I made up. Animo says, yeah, I can't do it at all, so I just write it in italics. Plus my naming are terrible, but I'll have to do what you're doing for that sci-fi idea. Yeah, totally. I mean, it can actually also be really fun. It's mostly like when you have a name that you don't really want, but you can't think of anything else. A good example of that was Carl, actually. He was, for the longest time, he was called, I think he might still be somewhere here. Have I managed to find every single instance of it? Maybe I have. But he was called Kyle, which sounded like Kyle the more I said it. And I was just like, I can't have a character that's supposed to be a name that's supposed to be Scots Gaelic or Welsh inspired and have him named Kyle. Like, so I ended up just removing the E from Kyle to make him Carl with this little A with a little accent on, which was much better, I think. You know what, that might turn into a short form video, so let's have a... Thank you for that question, Sam. Or Animo. 117 names. Animo says it's easy for the dream idea because it's superhero stuff, so I just follow DC and Marvel and use alliterative names. The good old Stan Lee. The good old Stan Lee method. Dr. Doom, Peter Parker, Otto Octavian is Dr. Octopus, or whatever, what's it called? Octavius? Yeah. maybe I'll have that as a future naming convention, like an alliteration. I think the biggest... that was very interesting. Thank you for answering. Oh, thank you so much for asking about it. I love to blurt out everything and just talk. But I think a problem that I have realized when we're talking about names is that names in real world also have meanings, right? They come from something that's just usually old, but it does have a meaning. Like, I know Thomas is actually, it comes from an old Hebrew word meaning twin. And so I mean, I write these in English, but that's just, they have their own language, but for the reader they're in English, right? Because that's, you know. But for example, Gwilfane, if he was actually called Gwilcraig Fane, like, it was just, it's supposed, like, then I can't write this name, right? It would just say Moonfur in the text as well, because they're speaking Fayan, right? They're speaking their language. So I have to come up with some way with the names that they still mean something, but they wouldn't say the translation, if that makes sense. Animo says Lois Lane just becomes Lara Lane in my story. Nice. But she's more Jean Grey than anyone else. Okay, cool. I like how you kept the Lane name. My name is also Hebrew. It means God has heard. Yeah, exactly. El Cuervo says mine too. It means the fortunate son of God. I know, right? So most names have some, funny enough, usually religious meaning. But you guys are not called God has heard or fortunate son of God. In every day you're called Sam and El Cuervo. I'm not sure your first name, but people are not calling me Twin in Danish, would be Tvilling. That's I think that's the biggest challenge I have when I want this to be with the naming conventions and the names to make sense, because they're supposed to showcase a little bit about what the language is and how it works, but the story is happening in their native language, but I'm just writing it in English and Danish, right? So we don't go around calling Gwilfane for Moonfur, even though that's what his name is derived. So I have to come up with some sort of deviation or technique that can then work as a name, which is in this case, in the case of the Fae Folk, is the contraction of words or a single word. Just throw away letters in the middle and just smash them together, and you have something that doesn't actually mean anything, but it still means the original word, like Gwilfane. That was a very long explanation, and I don't know if it actually made much sense, but Animo says, yeah, using Lane is just part of my homage to the superhero inspiration. Nice. I am very happy with using homages. I mean, my whole channel, my whole universe is called Forgotten Songs. One of them is Forgotten Realms from D&D. I read that and I was just like, oh my god, Forgotten, because I had another name before Forgotten Songs, before I ended up with Forgotten Songs. And I was just like, oh my god, Forgotten fits so well with songs. And so I nabbed that straight out from Forgotten Realms, Dungeons and Dragons. It's such a word that just screams fantasy, right? And then songs, in my case, is an homage to, well, it's two things. It's one, it's an homage to A Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones. The book series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. And then secondly, it's the way that we as a society used to deliver stories and myths and history. It's usually delivered through song. So song can also mean stories. So Forgotten Songs. That's how I came up with that. Forgotten. I'm just noting down that could be a short form video. Forgotten Songs maybe. Okay, let's get back to this, shall we? Carl faked a smile as the spirit bound enjoyed the petting and attention. Oh my god, there's so much ink in that cap. And on my fingers as a result, my fingies. Joy, deep petting, and attention. Sana. Honestly, Sana with her name I'm really proud of. Honestly, Gwilfane I'm pretty proud of as well. Carl is more of a... Yeah, that works. But Sana Wind means summer wind in Faen. And it's just such a nice name. And I feel like Sana Wind, or just Sana, like rolls really well off the tongue. So I'm quite proud of that name. Sana. He finally asked. It is very nice, thank you. Yeah. She replied laughing. As she was being overwhelmed by Gwilfane's affection. Her own spirit bound. Had joined in on the kissing, on the licking, and soon the two overwhelmed her. Whoops. Overwhelmed. You just say so we said overwhelmed twice, right? I just forgot to add it up here somehow. Overwhelmed. And then we remove it from here because we don't want to have the same word twice in quick succession. Had managed to get her on her back. Stop it! Stop it, you two. She screamed, but couldn't help but still laugh. But still couldn't help. Couldn't stop laughing. That's a weird looking M. As she finally managed to push them away, to push the spirit bounds away. And get back on her feet. On her feet. Oops, Carl, not Grill. Carl. Continued. What? Suddenly I don't know how to spell continue. There we are. Okay, so here it comes. I was a selfish jerk. When did we start? We started down here by howling. I was just like, are we really almost 2 pages done? But no, we're only 1 page down. We did have a nice chat about naming, so that's good. He found a bit of trouble. Now, he had a bit of trouble. He had a bit of trouble finding the words. Trouble. Finding the words. I'm sorry. That I didn't go to your wedding. I told myself it was I told myself it was to protect myself. There's a lot of there's two myselfs in that one sentence, and we don't want that. I was convinced. Let's go with that. Is there another word for myself? That's why we use our thesaurus. Me. No. Not really. I was convinced that I didn't go in order to protect myself, in order to protect myself. But Cal paused. Paused again. Cal paused again to make sure he said the right words. He said the right words. I was just being selfish. I know that now. I know that now. I know that no. What the hell? I know that now. I'm sorry that it took so long to realize. sometimes my mind is just too focused on one thing. It's just too focused on one single thing. And I just don't see further than my own treetop. Can we say that? Is that too stupid? My own treetop. I mean, they are a forest, a tree-based society, right? A tree-based species. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll comment that and come up with something better. Yeah. And of course, I should have said goodbye to you. Said goodbye. Goodbye to you. I just realized something else. That we need to work towards. So, besides the reconciliation thing and this particular scene ending with Sanawin showing Carl how to light a fire in rain, I want her to somehow say, like, don't go in that direction, there's humans and you don't want to mess with humans when you're not equipped to mess with humans or something like that, right? It's just something to keep in mind. Because I want it to be a time skip, another time skip, and then Carl and Gwilfane has been messing with humans for a while. Because, you know, Danblue, his best friend, also told him not to do it, and he's like, I think they're interesting. I think I might want to go see them. And whoever says that path isn't for you to travel it, they live the humans, they won't be welcome. Yeah, something like that, exactly. That's very good phrasing with the path and all that. I might steal that when we come to it, but I just need to figure out how to get to that point, right? Because right now we're reconciling. He's saying he's sorry, she's gonna forgive him. And then we need the conversation to move in that direction, right? Before we end the scene. Right. Let's just keep that in mind as we continue this one here. That is this very, very good, El Cuervo, there. What you wrote, that path isn't for you to travel. They live the humans and they won't be welcoming. I might slightly rephrase it, but yeah, that's probably what she'll say. It's okay now. Sana Winth. Interrupted. I didn't know what you were going through. I forgive you. Let's start with that. I forgive you. Carl felt a relief suddenly coursing through his chest. But I didn't ask for your forgiveness yet. Forgiveness yet. Dot. Is it pouring rain outside now? Is it just really freaking windy all of a sudden? I have no idea if you can hear it on the microphone. It's like right outside my window. I could feel where you were going. I could feel where you were going. You know. You know how you have a little trouble finding the right words. Little trouble with words when you get worked up. Maybe that's something we actually need to implement into the story. That was something that just came to me. But that Carl, when he get worked up, he has troubles finding, well, what she says right here basically. If we could work that into some of the other into the other conversation with Danlu, you sort of have a nice little callback for the story. Trouble with words. Work into Danlu conversation. Hey, that also means that we are going for page 110. Whoever says it's literally me because I can't get past this damn dialogue line. Oh no. Oh, I know it all. I know it all too well. Page 110, these nuts, says Animo. No, I'm good, thank you. On that note, I'm gonna end the stream. No, we still have like a half an hour before we end the stream. Not what you said in Glen. In Glen Huddles. That's true. That's true. I know who the guy is now. I think you explained it to me last time I was in London as well, but now I know. Okay. Yeah, Glen Huddle is an OG. Yeah, I know you were so sad when that bathroom door had been painted over. Good old Glen. Thank you. He didn't get to say much more. Oh, actually, maybe that should be next line. He didn't get to say much more. Didn't get to say much more. Before he was caught in the arms of his childhood friend, his best childhood friend. Wrapped tightly. I don't know if you can actually say it like this, but I'm going to. Slowly he returned the hug. Slowly he returned the hug. I'm so sorry. So sorry that I hurt you. You must believe that it was the last thing I wanted. The last thing I wanted. I must believe that was the last thing I wanted. Should have said goodbye. As well. You really should have. Sana Wind answered. Sana Wind almost mumbled, basically mumbled, almost mumbled. Basically mumbled. Basically mumbled. Her face dug deep. Whoa. Deep into Carl's shoulder. I just stopped talking. She said, and so they simply just stood there. In the pouring rain. In the rain. A rain that seemed to what's it called when like it seemed to stop? It seemed to rain that clear up so stand your clear up pour, but no, it was clear up I was looking for. But thank you, El Cuervo. Seem to start clearing up. Clearing up. Maybe to hint at clearing up. To hint, like it's still pouring, but it's starting to clear up. So now we want, I think we want the spirit bound to like get impatient and breaking up the hug. And then we want Sanawin to ask what the plan is. And then, so Sanawin asks what the plan is. And then Carl is gonna be all like, I don't know, but I just needed to get away. She'll say something like, as long as you don't go in that direction, as that path isn't for you. That's humans and they're not welcoming. Danlu said the same. He answers, something like along those lines, I think. That's what we want. Yeah, that could work. Oh, I'm getting tired. Too many good times in London. I didn't sleep enough. I'm catching up on that. I've been catching up on that today. Whoever says, God, I think it was too much goat cheese in that panini. It sounds like you're suffering from it now. Harry Tanfield, I heard this is where the cuties hang. Welcome to the stream, or the last 20 minutes of it. Oh my god. The Harry himself. Yep, this is indeed where all the cuties hang out and write sad romantasy. Because it's what I do, apparently. So we would say here with what do we say here with the Thomas called me cute by proxy. Clip it. Jamie, I will always call you cute. Not just by proxy. Actually, there should be a finally here. Finally. Seem to hint at clearing up. we say like after a while they were broken up by... The hug was broken up by the spirit bounds. Like in the end. In the end, the hug was broken up. Oh, it's definitely raining now. Oh damn, it's pouring down here. The hug was broken up by their spirit bounds. Uh-oh, I'm running dry on ink. You can see it there. There's no ink anymore. It will rain here when you end the stream. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sam. Yep. It's dead. Dead. Luckily, I got another one right here. You know, that reminds me of the Full Metal Alchemist scene. It's a good day for rain. When they're at the funeral. And Hawkeye is just like, what do you mean it's not raining? And the sun is out shining. It's a beautiful day. And then Colonel Mustang is just like, yes it is. And the tears come down the cheek. It's just like, oh, it's the worst scene in the world. By the spirit bounds. Aigdan headbutting Sanawin's leg. And Will Fane and Will Fane resting his head on top of Cal's. Yo, we're 5 people. This is getting bigger. I love it, says El Cuervo. Oh yeah. 5 viewers, let's go. It's happening. Woo! Jamie says we're on a mission to make Thomas the next Stephanie Meyer. He's a huge fan of hers. She's the Twilight writer, right? As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of Stephanie Meyer. 100%. Correct! Woo! I can't get enough of her. I've heard so many good things about her, especially... I've actually heard good things about the books. Not so many good things about the movies. But I, of course, know all about that because I read all of her work and watched all her movies. Animo says next E.L. James once it gets to mine and James stories. You know what I mean? Now I don't know who E.L. James is, but you know, let's have this 0 to 5 people. Plus Twilight. Yoink. Look her up, says Animo. I will. Alright, I'll look her up. E.L. James writes about the color gray. Oh. I mean, I've heard there are like 50 different shades of it. But of course, I'm super into her as well. Her stuff. El Cuervo says the Twilight movies are different. Yeah, that's probably what I've heard as well. They are indeed different. Okay, but I'm fine with me being... I mean... Maybe that's the next thing. We're not just going for romantasy, we're going with spicy romantasy. For the next short story, next book. You know, bringing the housewives to a fantasy world. That's where the monies are. Where were we in the end? The arc was broken up by the spirit bounds. Aiden headbutting Sanowin's leg, and Gwilfrin resting his head on top of Carl's. So I just had to check something. Right. Sanawinth. What the hell? Sanawinth said as she withdrew from Carl. That's apparently enough of that. It's apparently enough, just. She wiped her nose. Was it? I don't remember what color her cloak was. Do matter. So it was dark green, wasn't it? Jamie says, I'm enjoying this music. You can listen to it yourself, actually. It's just a bunch of songs I found in the YouTube library. This one is called... Oh. This is called Uo Mua Mua by Alex Hamlin. Right, it's called... Let me just type that. Ua Mua Mua by Alex Hamlin. It's in the YouTube audio library. You're welcome. I will say there are different times where this playlist is just a bunch of fantasy cinematic songs, like everything I could find. Uamua honestly sounds like a fantasy species. It does. I was thinking that as well. But yeah, so I do also have like battle music, sad music, a bit of sci-fi music in there, and sometimes it does not match with whatever I'm writing. But you know, sometimes it matches up quite nicely, like Uamua. Yes, we found it. Dark green cloak on her damp dark green. Dark green cloak with a sniffle. El Cuervo. Damn, I just got my character crying in the librarian's shoulders. I was totally blacked out while doing so, but I kind of like how it's done now. Sweet! That's awesome to hear. There's a lot of emotional things going on in our little stream here today, isn't there? It's meant to be. Apparently so. Carl agreed. Faking another smile. He knew it was stupid. He knew it was stupid. But he wouldn't have minded for the hug. Whoops. To go on longer, to go a little bit longer. Now, can we get the El Cuervo? I really like what you said about the pathing. I feel like that's very foresty, that's very nature-like, and something the Fae Folk would actually say, instead of which way are you going, which path do you plan on taking. But yeah, basically now we want to have Sanawind ask what his plans are, which should then lead into her saying, saying he shouldn't go to the humans, right? To be fair, we did mention earlier, way back, in the conversation Carl had with Dandlu, his good friend, that he might go seek out his the feral Fae Folk. I think we called them ferals. Or did we end up calling him something else? I don't remember. But we could have him heed her warning here, and then say, I'll probably seek out my feral uncle. My uncle and the other ferals. And she'll be like, okay, but be careful, you can never really trust a feral. Maybe that needs a bit more cooking. How we're going to end this scene. Yeah, we probably... Okay, let's go a little bit further than then probably in the stream. Go a little bit longer. Where are you? Where you gonna go? Gonna go? Where are you gonna go then? She asked. This is the outskirts of our woods after all. Our woods. You didn't talk to Dandlu. Dandlu and Clerun. Clerun. We didn't chat much. Chat much, speak much. After the wedding, he just personally sent me and Reo out to patrol the, and we're gonna end it there. So yeah, get a little, I just thought of that. Could be a fun little thing. So Danlu was of course Carl's good friend, who he had a long conversation with earlier in the story. And he's sort of the reason why Sanawind found Carl. Sanawind and Egden found Carl in Gwilfane. Clap, says Jamie. Thank you for that. Of course, we're ending with our usual little trick, ending in the middle of a word, so that next time when I pick up the pen, I just have to finish that word and I've already started. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here and chatting. It was awesome. And I hope that you'll join the live stream another time. It's usually Mondays and Wednesdays, maybe Tuesdays. James says, woo, woo, let's go. Well done, mister. Thank you so much. And the very last thing before we end, just remember that we write our own stories. Boom. Yep, that is indeed my outro. Let's go. This was very fun. Thank you, Sam. Bye. Of course I have an outro. This is my first rodeo as a YouTuber. Oh my god, Ambius was here as well.